Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I'm the Gnarly Gnome, and this is the Weekly Pint. It's not a show, it's a happy hour. It's an excuse for me and you to hang out together, to drink together, and because of that, you should tell me what you're drinking. That's how we start the show. That's how we start the show that's not a show. That's how we start the happy hour. We drink together. That's kind of the whole purpose of every happy hour I've ever been to, is to drink with somebody. So as you do jump on the live stream, tell me what you're cracking into tonight. We don't judge what it is. In fact, I'm going to drink some stuff that is definitely not craft beer, and that's okay. Actually, I don't have a single craft beer sitting on the desk in front of me. You can see my rum already. I didn't realize it was on camera. It's off camera. There we go. If it was a show, I would be embarrassed that I have things on camera that aren't supposed to be on camera. But it's not a show. It's all right. Let's see. All right, we're all jumping on here. Let's see. If I should say before we get into this too deep, if you are new to this thing and you're listening via the podcast feed or via the video feed after the fact, you're messing up and you're doing it wrong, and you're not having as much fun as we are, because you're supposed to be doing it live with us 9:30-ish on Mondays. We are at 9:48 p.m., so we're close enough that it counts. Close enough. Marco's drinking a water, but is about to have a Hood Hunter. Hood Hunter, that's what he said. I think that's something like a headhunter, but I could be wrong. Let's see. Josh is having a Brewer's Dozen. I feel like we've been drinking a lot of those lately. That's fine. It's a good beer. Julia has a double Seeing Colors. Joe is having Rabbit Hash General Store Premium Lager from Alexandria Brewing. Eric is having a Sinsatucky Trail Lager. Julia says gnome in a collared shirt. You don't okay, man. Yeah, I wear a lot of collared shirts, just not normally in front of anybody. And normally it's the uniform, the black t-shirt. Sorry, I didn't feel like changing. This one does smell like a Mexican restaurant, though. It smells amazing. We had Mexican food for dinner tonight, so I'm like a massive... I don't actually know what the cocktail I had was. It was a pina colada flavored margarita. I don't actually know what that is, but it was delicious, and I had a giant one. So this is going to go a certain direction. Ryan is having a Guinness with 2 shots of peanut butter flavored whiskey in it. That sounds good. Okay, Marco's calling me out too. Did Gnome have an interview or something? He's not wearing a black t-shirt. Sorry. Ryan knows I was pre-gaming at Cancun. Lazarus. Okay. All right, so let's get into the rumination. All right. I think I'm spoiling something with this one. So this is definitely a new rum. No, that's not even true. I did drink this on the show before, but I drank a very old version of this. This is a new version, a fresh version of this rum. And it's spoiling a YouTube video that I have coming out in hopefully the next couple weeks, where I'm going to go into a whole bunch of fun stories about this, not only this rum, but kind of how it came to be. And I'm going to try really hard not to cross over too much between the two, but I can't make any promises because, yeah, big giant margarita. So who knows? This is Pussers. I have no idea how I'm supposed to pronounce it. Pussers. We'll say Pussers. This is a British Navy rum. What I will say about this on this show is that at one time, the British Royal Navy, as part of the pay to its sailors, gave a rum ration, a ration of rum. Like, you got a certain amount of rum, and that amount changed over the years as part of your pay. And you would get your ration, and then you would drink it, and you would be happy, and you would not complain about the fact that you have to work on a horrible ship in the middle of the ocean. Ooh, look at that bright blue stopper on there. But what happened over time is that people were getting too drunk on the ships. And so they started watering down the rations over time. And then eventually, as everything else seemed to go, people decided alcohol was evil. So they stopped giving the rum rations to the sailors, which is dumb. And some years after that, there was a guy that was very smart, and he decided he was going to license the formula. So he went to the British Royal Navy, and he said, if you guys give me the recipe for the rum that you were using, I will donate a portion of the proceeds back to the Sailors Fund, which is some kind of fund that gives money to sailors, I guess. I don't know. So that's what this is. This is supposedly the recipe that they were given as their rum ration. Supposedly. This is also, and this is probably jumping on a topic that is going to be on some other content at some point. This is also one of the rums that you have to use to make a certain cocktail. So, like you cannot make a Bacardi cocktail with anything but Bacardi rum. You cannot make a painkiller with anything but pussers rum. You can't do it. It's trademarked, and there's a lot of rum cocktails that have ended up like that, where they've been trademarked. Not a lot of other spirits that I've come across that have trademarked certain cocktails. It just happens to be rum. I don't know why. We'll explore that at some point. Let's see. Grumpy sailors are better. Bad plan. No. All right. Pussers. Let's read the back. The superb. This is a superb rum. That's good. The superb rum in this bottle is blended at reduced strength in accordance with the Royal Navy Admiralty regulations for rum in effect at the time the daily rum issue was terminated on July 31st, 1970. This proprietary blend has been aged in once-used charred oak bourbon barrels and chill filtered to further enhance its flavor and smoothness. So it's not as strong as the rum was at one point. But when they stopped giving the sailors rum, this is the rum that they were being given. In theory. I don't actually know if it's true. I don't know. It could just be it could be marketing BS. Ryan says a painkiller may be in my top 5 cocktails. I agree. Painkillers immediately make me feel like I'm on vacation. Now, a pina colada, which a painkiller is a distant cousin of the pina colada. It's just maybe an improved version of a pina colada. They don't do that anymore. It just feels like a tropical-ish cocktail, but it doesn't transport me to vacation. A painkiller still does. This smells awesome. It does not smell quite the same as the aged version that I had however long ago that was that I tried it. Really, like, there's a fun caramely thing. Maybe some banana. Caramel. I get a lot of caramel. It wouldn't make me want to join the Navy, but if I was in the Navy, this would make me feel better about being in the Navy. Oh, that's good. Oh, that's great. Oh, man, yeah, that's fun. So I was on the fence about if I was going to get this rum, or there's a more modern take on what some people think the rum actually tastes like, and that's Smith & Cross. I thought about getting a bottle of that, too. Probably need that behind the bar. And I picked this one up instead. It was more classic. I'm going to make a video about a painkiller. So I feel like I had to have this. I'm glad that I got this. That is so good. Over and over, I just confirm with myself that rum is my favorite spirit. I love rum. That's so good. I can't talk about the rum too much because we got a lot to cover tonight. we have some big topics, and I know that last week we didn't really get to all the big topics. I will crack into some other stuff as we go, but for now, we will drink rum and talk about things. Let's start with where have I been? Now, to you guys, I haven't been anywhere because last week the show was right here. This week the show is right here, but this last weekend I was out of town. We take a yearly trip with the family. Oh, I didn't put on the drink cam. You can't see how beautiful this is. Oh, look at that. Once a year we go out of town. My wife's family is from up north, Salina, so Grand Lake, St. Mary's. Once a year for Lake Fest, we go to Salina, St. Mary's, the area, and we stay somewhere up there. We rent a house, a bunch of us, and just spend an entire weekend having a ton of fun. We drink a lot, we smoke a lot of cigars, we watch the fireworks. My kids go and run crazy for an entire weekend. It's a ton of fun. And Ryan says he'd been at Cancun. Well, that was tonight. So I need to recap the lake weekend. We did spend a lot of time on the lake this time. Typically, we don't spend as much time actually on the lake. This year we rented a boat and we were on the water. That is why I am sunburnt. I would take my pants off and show you my legs, but Julia gets mad when I do that on podcasts, so I'm trying not to. But yeah, my legs are sunburnt, and we had a ton of fun. Drank a lot of rum. That's kind of the topic of tonight's show. That the title. I drank buckets, like literal buckets of rum. There's some bars you can go to, and you get these little buckets of some kind of cocktail. I'm currently wearing pants. That was what I was originally going to drink on this show. I was going to make a rum bucket. I was going to create my own rum bucket cocktail. I chose not to do that because of the giant margarita that I already had. But maybe coming up on an episode, I'll do that. Because the buckets that I had, they were good, they were fine, but they weren't great. And I feel like I could make a really great bucket cocktail. Something that is still not like an obnoxious amount of alcohol, because legally there's only a certain amount you're supposed to serve one person. And I feel like you should try to stay in that that ballpark. But try to make something that still feels like you're overindulging, feels like you're on vacation, feels like you're creating something that is a special experience. I'm going to do that one of these days. And I saved the bucket. I have it sitting somewhere. Actually, I think it's upstairs still. The bucket that kind of inspired me to improve the bucket was this it's like a, I don't know, it's probably I don't know. It feels like it's 32 ounces, but I bet it's 20 something ounces if you really measured it out. It definitely had Starry as a base, so like Sprite, and then it had a couple different kinds of rum in there. They threw in a bunch of like gummy sharks and peach rings, and then in the bottom, and this was the mistake. This was the biggest mistake. In the bottom of the bucket, they threw a bunch of Nerds for some reason, like Nerds candy. And so they just turned into like this sludge eventually, which is not what I want in the bottom of my cocktail. It was not a fun experience. Sucking up sludge is not fun. And then they took a can of High Noon, peach High Noon, and shoved it in the bucket, which I like. I don't know that peach is my favorite flavor, but it was fine. The fun part about shoving a can of anything into a cocktail, like you've had the speaking of margaritas, the Corona-ritas, where they take a little tiny bottle of Corona and they shove it in your margarita. The thing I like about that is that as you're drinking your cocktail refills itself. You've got like a reserve tank of drink. So as you're drinking, you get these little glugs of more drink coming into your drink. And that kind of feels like it's the drink that never ends, and I like that. I don't know that peach would have been the way that I would have gone. I get it with the peach rings and all that stuff. It was some kind of peachy drink, and it was fine. But I could do better. I could do so better. Julia says, nerds for the river rock silt at the bottom of the lake. Yeah, that lake is an interesting lake. Again, there's going to be a video about the weekend and about the lake and about how you should drink if you're in the Grand Lake St. Mary's region. And I say region because I've been working on this entire video blog post thing for years now, trying to piece different parts of it together and try to get to all of the places that I need to get to actually tell you what the best places to drink are. I take this really seriously. When I write a blog post or when I make a video that tells you this is the best places that you should go, they are the best places that you should go. I've been to them all. I go to all of the places and I narrow it down and I figure out what the best ones are and I figure out why they're the best ones. I don't just write some kind of article or make a video because of Yelp ratings. And I hope that everybody understands that. Because when I see those articles or I see those YouTube videos where people are just making stuff up, that upsets me. It upsets me so much, I'm going to drink my rum. Hang on. Tinned Fiona says, I always found it interesting how people would put the 6-ounce Corona bottles upside down in margaritas. I really wondered if it adds anything. Yeah, it's a reserve tank. It's an evolution as your drink goes, especially with a margarita. When I make my perfect margarita, the one that I like, there is just a little splash of beer that goes in at the end, to give it a little sweetness and a little watered down kind of. It's good, and this starts with that way. There's a little bit of beer in there, but then as you're drinking your margarita, it slowly kind of keeps watering it down, and by the time you're at the end, it's mostly beer. It's like a lime flavored beer, which is also delicious. I think that's kind of fun. The way drinks change. That's one of the things that I love about craft beer is that when you get a good craft beer that takes you a while to drink, as you're sitting there over an evening drinking it evolves, it changes. Like the beer that you start with is not the same as the beer that you end with. This is a room temperature pour of booze. No matter how long it takes me to drink this, it's going to be pretty close to the way I started. There'll be a little bit of oxygen that gets in there or something, maybe, but that's about it. Temperature is going to be the same. The flavor is going to be the same. It's not watered down. There's no ice or anything in it. Yeah, it's just a way to create a drink that extends itself for a little longer. Reserve tank, a beer reserve tank. Let's see. Zach says it's pumpkin season already. No such thing as seasonal creep. We will get to that for sure. In fact, that'll be our next story we cover is seasonal creep, the yearly seasonal creep discussion. The whole thing I want to talk about is the idea of this lake life and the idea of getting away and trying to find drinks that fill some kind of need. When I'm on vacation, there are things that I need to drink, and I need to drink to feel like I'm on vacation. I can't go away and drink the exact same things that I drink when I'm home. Although I did drink a whole bunch of Rheingeist because it's hard to find good craft beer when you're up there, and that's going to be part of the video. But it's around, but it's hard to find. But I have to find, when I'm on the lake, I need rum drinks. Julia says, did you stop by Lake Rat while you were up there? I did. We've got a phone call. Hang on. You are on the Weekly Pint. Who is this?
What up? It's Noam. It's Zach. I had to say
What's up,
something.
Zach?
You said something about seasonal creep. Hey, nothing much.
Seasonal creep is our next topic.
I know.
We're not there yet.
Just a brief part.
Okay, we're not there yet. We got to get through lake life first. When you go on vacation, what do you drink?
Okay. I haven't had a vacation in a very long time, so I
Well, okay,
couldn't tell you.
what are you calling? So you've never had like a weekend where you like go and like do something here, or you know, like a vacation doesn't have to mean you're going to like I don't know Florida or something like that.
Well,
Doesn't
the last time that I remember going out to a lake type situation was before my first kid arrived, and that was
Mhm.
what before 2020. And what I remember we brought out there was probably a two-hearted ale, some simple stuff, some like light IPAs. But then when we got to the campfire, we started sharing like the random like when 450 North was so huge at one point. I mean, I still drink them occasionally, but we were drinking like random stuff by the campfire, that kind of thing.
right.
Those are the things that I would be drinking when it came to that camp setting, and that was the last time I was in that type of setting. So,
So I find myself like I either buy drinks or get drinks when I'm somewhere as a way to kind
okay,
of force a feeling almost. Like I know that if I
okay,
drink this drink, it's going to make me feel this way about where I am or what I'm doing. So if
okay,
it's a weekend where I want to feel like I'm living the lake life, I'm going to drink something that's more
okay,
lake-like. I'm going to drink like a rum drink or a bucket of rum or whatever it might be.
okay.
Whereas if I'm hanging out by a campfire, I might lean into like whiskey or moonshine or something like that, just
Oh,
because
nice.
it makes you feel a certain way.
Yeah, and it's just that feeling. You get the campfire smell, and you got that like well, you're drinking the heavy whiskey liquors. It sounds like I'm drinking the bourbon barrel aged stuff because I'm an all year round guy when it comes to that. So I'm wanting to feel that. Now, if I'm going out on a kayak or something like that, of course it's going to be something like a light IPA. Actually, whatever that Saunders new light one that they brought out. I forget the new light version of whatever that's called. I tried it
The
not too long ago.
IPA, it's a Little Betcha.
Yeah, Little Betcha. See, that would be something I would probably bring out like on a kayak or a canoe or something like that. Something not too heavy, obviously. Or I think the last time I went on like something like that, I think I had Zombie Dust from Three Floyds. That was also one I drank at one point in the boat type situation. It's been, like I said, it's been a while. So,
Right. All right. Well,
and then
let's
but
jump into the seasonal creep.
okay,
This is the yearly time we talk about it. Once a year,
yes,
we have this conversation. And I don't know that my
correct.
stance has changed very much from what it has been other years, but I want to hear yours.
Okay.
I want to hear your stance.
Well, I know that it comes. Well, it keeps coming well, it seems like every year earlier, but now I think they've kind of got it to the point where it comes out like this week of July,
Right.
and so
That-
I'm doing my. Go
so
ahead.
so number one, that's what we have to address first. Is it actually creeping?
Okay.
Is there creeping? Is it moving sooner and sooner? Because it's been a couple years since I did the research, but at that time, and I did
Okay.
it with Oktoberfest, it hadn't moved. Everybody makes their Oktoberfest at the same time every year, and it's released at the same time every year, and that's the very end of
Sure.
July, and that's when they come out, every single year. In fact, with a lot of breweries, it was the exact same week that it came out every year. It didn't change at all. So I don't think the seasonals are actually creeping. With that
So,
being said,
so I guess at this point, no. Sorry. Excuse me.
with that being said, are they coming out earlier than they should? And that's, I think, the bigger discussion.
In my opinion, for myself, no, because like how much you love Oktoberfest, that's how much I love pumpkin beers. And I feel like maybe I'm talking out my ass that you like Oktoberfest. You probably could have Oktoberfest all year round. You'd probably be like, hell yeah.
Well,
But then
and
maybe you might like.
there
What
are
were you gonna say?
there are places. So Northern Row makes an Oktoberfest year round, and I will drink it from time
Well,
to
obviously
time
Northern
year
Row,
round.
yeah.
But my bigger question that I don't know the answer to, and that I've been trying to figure out in my own head, is when you released them. We'll use Oktoberfest as the example because that's my seasonal. When Oktoberfest is being released in July, by the time we head
Yeah.
into like the peak of Oktoberfest season, and we're into mid to late September, and Oktoberfest is going full force, are people already done with Oktoberfest? Are we losing some of the potency of Oktoberfest joy by spreading it out, by releasing it in July? And the same probably goes for pumpkin. Are we losing the potency and the fun of pumpkin beer for most consumers by releasing them when we do, so that by the time Halloween rolls around, you can't find
Yeah.
them and people are kind of done with them? Are we losing that
Now,
joy that could be experienced from the beer? Now, I understand, Zach, that it's not breweries making these decisions. It's consumers, it's retailers, it's distributors.
yeah.
These are the people that are making the decisions for the breweries. They release them when people need
Sure.
them and want them.
Mhm.
So I don't blame the breweries for doing it when they do. But I feel like we might be losing something.
Yeah. Like I said, it's also, I don't know, like some people, like I said, some people, I don't know. Like I said, I'm an all year round guy. Now, is it seasonal creep? Kind of. Yes, it does creep in earlier and earlier. And I might have a problem. I do have a problem for those people who do want to access it during like October or November, come around between the times that it's actually supposed to. People really want them. Yes, that might be a really big issue. I don't know if maybe they just don't make enough at some point and they just kind of stop it off, or I don't know if it's one of those situations where like they're like, okay, we're gonna only make so much, and we're gonna make sure if you really want it, you're gonna buy it all, and maybe that's their scheme all along is buy all this pumpkin, or they just maybe they need to continue to make it more and more and more. I don't know how it's produced either way. That is a problem in my opinion for those people who do want the pumpkin at the pumpkin type season. They should be able to have access to that. But like that's why I start early myself. I'm always like telling, well, there's not a lot of pumpkin fans. Let's be honest out there. They're more
Well,
Oktoberfest fans than
there's a
there
lot
are
of
pumpkin
pumpkin
fans.
fans.
Well, I mean, I don't know. Like when I talk to my buddies, they're like, "Oh, I'm not that excited about a pumpkin." But of course, everyone knows me now by my Facebook group that I'm always the one looking for it right away when I start seeing it being posted. Like the root cellar just posted theirs example is what I'm trying to say. So, but I don't know. I guess I'm just excited about it. It's basically trying to say, I guess, at this point in time. So,
Would you change it if you could? Like if you had this power as some kind of beer god and you got to tell all the breweries when they were allowed to release their beers, would you change when they release the seasonals? Would you say, nope, you got to wait. Pumpkin can't come out until October or whenever you determine pumpkin season starts? And would you say, oh, nope, no Oktoberfest yet? You got to wait till the end of August. Like, would you create that rule, or are you just ready for it all the time?
I guess I'm just ready for it because, like, when it starts dwindling down at this point in time, example, baseball season, for example, I don't know, like the summer to me, baseball and all that stuff, it starts dwindling down. August, of course, we still have a summer ahead of us and stuff, still like one more month of it. But when I start getting to the point when we get a tease of the cool weather, that kind of thing, like we had the other day, I'm like, okay, I'm ready for fall. I'm already now ready for football season just because, I mean, obviously, I mean, maybe if the Reds would actually do worth a shit as far as sports team go, I'd be more excited. But now I'm ready to be like, move on. Let's get the fall in here. Let's get the fall beers. Let's get the football. Let's get everything started. Let's get the pumpkin. Like, it's not too soon for me, I guess you could say. And
Okay.
even with Oktoberfest, I'm excited to get those too as well. I don't know. Fall's my favorite time of the year. Summer's my second favorite time of the year. But when it gets to the point by the end of July, all the stuff like 4th of July is over. I mean, we have Labor Day, whatever. I don't really care as much about that one as much. But when we start getting to this point, and kids are getting ready to go back to school in 2 or 3 weeks from now, it's like, okay, I'm ready for that. I'm ready for all those pumpkin beers. I'm ready for all the Oktoberfest. I'm ready for like July, or I mean, I'm ready for the fall to start and the Halloween spooky season. I mean, I watch horror movies all year round too, but that kind of stuff. So
Yeah, see, I'm not ready. I'm not ready for fall by any stretch. Like I still think there's a lot of summer left to be had, and like I love Oktoberfest, but like if I could make some kind of beer rule, like I would say like I don't want Oktoberfest until we
sure,
start hitting those days. Now I still want there to be hot days because I love a good fest beer sitting in the sun, but you also have to have
sure,
those evenings to back it up. It can't be it can't
yeah,
be the time of year where I'm hitting a hot day and a hot evening and drinking Oktoberfest beer. I need some amount of fall feeling to it, but that's
yeah,
me. And at the same time, like I know that you can't predict that, and I know you can't control that. And I recognize that as soon as you get those days, it's got to be on the shelf. And I recognize that as soon
Yeah.
as, it needs to be on the shelf and available in August. And to do that, you got to probably release it in July. Like I get that. So it's
I
hard.
mean, and I think everyone knows it by now. They're like, okay, like there's no way around it anymore. And I don't know. Let me ask you this: all right, since the Oktoberfest are already starting to hit the shelf, for example, are you just thinking like, okay, I'm just going to pick up all these Oktoberfest beers, but I'm going to set them off on the side until I don't know, September, October? Is that how you roll it?
I
How
mean,
you roll with it?
I'm
Pretty much.
I'm I'm a bad example with Oktoberfest because I do the whole bracket thing, but we'll use pumpkin as the example here. If I want to have pumpkin beer for October and for Halloween,
Correct.
yeah, I'm buying it early. I'm buying it early and I'm stashing it somewhere that it's going to be tucked out of the way until then, because I recognize that I'm probably not going to be able to find it the week of Halloween. Like I can't just go to the store and get it because it's probably going to be gone, especially if I want a specific one or something.
Oh yeah, and then I will say my favorites. Well, I'm drinking a Shuffly. How do you say it? Shuffly? Is that right? Schlafly. I'm drinking the Schlafly. I'm drinking the Schlafly vanilla pumpkin tonight just because of because it was my last one in the fridge, and I always save a pumpkin off on the side in case I want to drink it somewhere later down the road. But now pumpkin with Southern Tier, which is my favorite one of all, they're doing all kinds of variants now, and now apparently this year so last year they released the maple one, loved it. And I'll probably try to find it. I think I saved that off on the side from last year. And then now they just introduced a new one. It's called the Pumpkin Queen. And so it's going to be a pumpkin cider they're releasing for the King and Queen thing. So they're going, it sounds like they're trying to do something different every year.
I like that.
And so I'm pretty excited about that one. And then just today, I actually picked up at Kroger. I don't drink Angry Orchard very often, but I'm a huge fan of horror movies. They now have a second Terror Pack, or I think it's called Terror Pack or something like that. Basically what it is they have a horror themed, like last year was Jason, for example, and they had like blood orange for it. This year is a mystery flavor, and they have Ghostface on the can. And so that supposedly it's supposed to be fruit punch apple cider. They have a new caramel apple cider, and blood orange came back again, and the pumpkin came back again as well this year. And so I picked up a pack of that today because it's like, oh my God, I'm a sucker for all this like Halloween stuff. So
no matter if Oktoberfest is your jam or pumpkin beer is your jam, or you think it's too early or it's not early enough, no matter, like, I think we can all agree that fall beers are pretty well the best seasonals. Like the way they just tap into that season, like memories and scents and all of that. It's perfect. Like I recognize like a good crisp Pilsner in the summertime is great, and Christmas beers are good and all. I get that.
Sure.
But as far as seasonals that just fit the season perfectly, fall is so good. It's amazing. But that doesn't mean I need fall to come any faster than it already is.
Got you. Okay, I get what you're saying. Like I said, I still love the summer. I'm still gonna I'd like to get the rest of the going to the pool or splash pads with my daughter has been the thing, that kind of thing.
Yep.
Those kind of things. I'm trying to get all that out like now, and then of course start getting ready for that fall season. But like with all the beers and all that stuff, I can drink it now. Like when I start getting the newer pumpkin beers, which I guess Angry Orchard is technically my first one of the year for this year, I'm going to pick up stuff. I mean, I've called around. I think Third Eye just released theirs again recently, and they're all coming out. Southern Tier's got theirs next week, so they're all starting to trickle out. So, but either way, I will be the one who starts early, and then I'll save us. And here's the thing: I start early, have a few here, right? But I still buy so many different pumpkin beers that I save some off on the side for the time of September, October, and then I drink some now when I start seeing them out, like usually the ones I've had before. And then my goal every year is to find new pumpkin beers that I've never had before, because some of like some years we'll get like new things at distro. So it might have been like, I don't know, the same brands as like Southern Tier and all that stuff from last year, but then you'll see a new one. They'll be like, oh wait, I didn't know that company was going to do one. Or a brewing company posted on Instagram the other day saying, we never said we'd do a pumpkin beer, we're doing one this year, that kind of thing. And so I'm like, ooh, I got to find that one. So I'm in the search for, as much as you are in the search for your Oktoberfest beers when you're doing the bracket, I'm always searching for, yours is more local, I feel like, but I'm always searching for what's the new pumpkin beer that I haven't had in the last 5 years. So that's my goal, is to search for one or two new ones and then drink all the old ones for the past. So.
Well, I love that. I think that everybody should have some kind of fun beer journey they take every year, even if it's the same journey every year. It would just have some kind of journey. I love it.
That's my pumpkin journey. And then on the last note, to end this up, because I think I got to go take care of my kiddo, might be waking up because, those night feedings and all. But the last thing I was going to ask you is, have you had any, not the Northern Row Oktoberfest, but have you had any Oktoberfest yet that's come out that you've seen trickle out yet? Have you had any yet?
I have not tried any yet. As soon as I start drinking them, you guys will know, because it'll be part of a bracket. No, I've not tried any yet this year.
Now, as I was telling Marco, because he was asking in the 513 Craft Brew group, he was asking about Oktoberfest, and I thought it was funny that he posted stuff. Root Cellar has already posted a Instagram photo of at least, I want to say, 10 Oktoberfest that they have on their shelf.
Yeah, I think
for this year.
I know locally, Saunders released theirs. MadTree's, I think, is out there. 50 West is out there.
Yep, MadTree, Sonder.
I believe those are the three that, and then of course Northern Row. I think those are the three that I've seen released so far.
I think Revolution released theirs. Yeah, I'm
talking locally.
Yours always, I always forget you're local. You do go to try other Oktoberfest though too, right?
Yeah, but I mean, I'll put an Oktoberfest in front of me and I'll drink it. Chris says that he has seen Franz.
So you hear that, everyone? So if you guys find any Oktoberfest or you find anything new, get a single of it somewhere, bring it to Gnome, and he'll drink it.
Put it in my hand.
Who it's from. But anyway, it was great having a seasonal creep conversation. I wanted to talk about it because I knew eventually you were going to talk about it. We've always talked about the pumpkin ale on your live show, so I just wanted to introduce it again. And I want to kind of make it a thing every year. When the pumpkin starts arriving, I'll start talking about what my favorite one is. But usually it ends up being Southern Tier, to be honest. They're pumpkin variants, and then
I mean, it's hard to beat Pumpkin.
And then, of course,
it's a good beer.
Pumpkin's good, and then if you want to think, when I think locally, I'm going to straight off say Third Eye. I always like Third Eye as a local.
Yeah, I like that one.
As a local one. I wish Rheingeist would do something like that, but Rheingeist has their Franz, so that's my favorite Oktoberfest. Usually is either Esoteric or Rheingeist as far as the Oktoberfest goes. So.
All right. Well, thanks for calling in, Zach.
All right.
I think we should look at some label approvals.
Okay, cool.
Right.
Let's do that.
Next.
And cheers to you, night. Have a great night, brother.
All right. Cheers.
Bye, everybody.
Ryan says, Matt and I will be making our first trek north to the Oktoberfest at Yellow Springs Brewery on 8/28. If anyone wants to meet up, they had one of our favorites last year, and they'll have both a Märzen and a Fest beer. I'm not ready to dive into Oktoberfest discussion yet, but I don't know if anybody else saw. Sonder did release theirs the other day, and they have changed the name. They are now calling their Oktoberfest, I'm assuming it's the same beer, they're calling it a Fest beer officially, which then I can assume means that they will be doing their Märzen again and be doing both. It's my assumption. I don't know that for a fact, but I'm going to crack open a can before I jump into these label approvals because I'm thirsty. I finished my rum and I need something else, and I'm going to drink a cocktail. But you know who doesn't want to mix up their own cocktail? This guy. So I'm going to go canned cocktail. Ranch water. I have made a video about ranch water. Talked about it a little bit. Might have mentioned it a little bit in the highball episode of Drinking with the Gnome because I really like ranch water. Not a highball. It is a variant of a highball because it gets a little bit of lime. Let's see what's in this one. This is from Waterbird down in Charlottesville, Virginia. This has premium Blanco tequila, sparkling water, real lime juice, so a squirt of lime, and natural. What else? Natural flavors. What other flavors do you need? You've got my tequila and my lime and my sparkling water. I don't need any other flavors. What else are you putting in here? It's made with real premium tequila. The description says, Waterbird Spirits was born in Charlottesville, Virginia, using premium distilled spirits carefully sourced. How careful were you? Oh, I hate when people put words like that in there and I don't even know what it means. Carefully sourced from around the world. I hope they didn't get their tequila from around the world. Along with superior ingredients. There's a lot of words in here just to make it longer. Superior ingredients to create. We create an experience for spirits, connoisseurs, and adventurers alike. This canned cocktail is proudly made. What's going on over here? I don't need to do that. My phone's going nuts. This canned cocktail is proudly made with the finest Blanco tequila distilled in Jalisco, Mexico. All right. It's premium Blanco tequila, real lime juice. Let's see if it tastes any good. All right. If you have not watched my video about ranch water is a very simple cocktail. It was, in theory, invented by people working on ranches in Texas. They would take bottles of Topo Chico, you pop it open, you take a swig, then you take the space that your swig emptied out, fill that with tequila, give it a little, take a lime, squirt a lime, shove the lime in there, ranch water. That's it. So I'm of the belief that a proper ranch water needs to have mineral water, and a proper ranch water needs to be tequila, and a proper ranch water needs a squirt of lime. We'll see how they did here. Okay, smells good. It doesn't always smell good. This one does. All right. Cheers. Bottoms up. Let's see. It's good. It's good. Yeah, I can get behind that. I think Julia says so a cowboy spaghetti. Kinda. Yeah, I can get behind that. And again, I feel like I say this a lot. I do have a video I'm working on about this too. I think Marco says, "Bro, are you going to raw dog that can?" Yeah, ranch water doesn't need to go into a glass. You drink out of the can. I think that there are a lot of canned cocktails that try too hard to be complicated cocktails, and you can do that. And there are companies like Tip Top Cocktails and stuff that are making these really great canned cocktails. Julia says, I just wrote that in my notes. There are some drinks that I think you should be consuming out of a can. This is one of them. Or a bottle. Chris is talking about drinks that he had today on vacation. I think that there are a lot of companies that are overcomplicating what we want from our canned cocktails. And that's why I like things like ranch water in a can, because it's really hard to overcomplicate it. It's a very simple cocktail. The flavor profile does well in this format because that's the format that it should be consumed in. It's hard to make a canned Negroni taste good, or even a canned margarita. That's hard to do and make it taste like an actual margarita, or a good version of even a mediocre margarita. So I think that a lot of times people should stop trying to replicate a cocktail and just take it back to some kind of basics. Just keep it simple. Make a highball, make a ranch water, something like that. My advice. All right, let's look at some labels, because there's some fun stuff that we should probably talk about. And we're gonna start strong here. I think this button will do it. There we go. Okay. This is West Side. So if you remember back, I don't know how long ago it's been, a year or 2 years. I don't know. West Side discontinued their common beer. This was a flagship beer from day one for them, their light beer. This was the beer that when people walked into the tap room, and they said, I only like Bud Light. What do you have? I said, you should try our common ale. And they gave them their common ale. And people liked it, and it was fun. And then they had a big kind of moment recently, a couple years ago, like I said, where they discontinued the common ale and replaced it with their Mexican lager. In theory, and again, these are label approvals. There's no guarantee that any of these will be released, are going to be released, have been released, or will ever actually see the light of day. It's just a hint at what maybe could come from the future from some of our breweries. They have approval to do these. Common Light. So this is a light lager, 100 calories, 3.9% ABV. Make note of that very low alcohol content. This is a crusher, a beer designed for everyday drinking, as it says on there, the everyday light lager. This is the beer that when people walk in the tap room and they say, I only like Bud Light, what do you got that's closest to Bud Light? This is that beer. It's a light lager. I'm all about it. I like the branding. I like the idea of common being brought back in some capacity. Obviously, this is not an ale. This is a lager. This is a common lager. I love it. Brewed for cookouts, ball games, neighborhood gatherings, and every day in between. Give it to me all day long. This is what I want. I did pull a keg collar, which I don't typically do, only because it relates to this one. This is sea salt and lime, common light. So same beer, sea salt and lime. I don't know what this means for their Mexican lager. I don't know if it's still going to live next to this or if this replaces it. I don't know. I don't know anything because I pull these and then I talk about them and then deal with the repercussions from the brewery that says, hey, we weren't ready to talk about that yet. I'm sorry. I had to talk about it. It's exciting. Moving on. But yeah, make note of that. Tell me if you guys see it anywhere. And if I do, I will share. Julia says it's been on tap since at least June 29th. Okay. I pulled some carbless labels because they've got some kind of new branding going on here, and I thought that was kind of interesting. These are not a local product, but they are made locally at Impact. So Impact either produces these or cans these or deals with these in some capacity. And they're also seeing a really, really, really big kind of moment right now of people really liking these. And so I think that the company is going to keep growing and we're going to start seeing a lot more of carbless. This is a 12% version, so canned cocktail category instead of kind of that RTD, vodka, tequila, whatever based seltzers. I don't know where that line sits for me, but higher ABV becomes canned cocktail. I don't know. It's logical, but that's how I feel. This is a margarita, definitely like a canned cocktail. So I originally did not know that these were no carbonation. I've never tried them. I thought they had 0 carbs, and that's why they were carbless. Now people are saying that they don't have carbonation. I'm all about it. Julia says, no carbonation is just spirits. No, there's more to it. There is definitely more to having a non-carbonated beverage, especially when you're talking about things that are like margarita flavors. Like there's a lot going on there. Moving on. Mango margarita, same thing, but with mango. Blackberry Moscow Mule. I'm all about this. Like I want to try these, especially if like they are not carbonated. Like that sounds interesting to me. Julia says Gilligan's posted about Common Light on Facebook 12 hours ago. Perfect. I don't have to feel bad about talking about it tonight then. Oh, okay. All right. This is some good stuff. Cincinnati Distilling with an apple cordial. I don't know any details about it. It's 60 proof, so it's like kind of lighter booze, kind of the same way that rum that I had last week, the toasted coconut rum, kind of that same idea, something that feels like you're drinking booze, but also kind of just feels like you're drinking either a cocktail or something like that, wine, really strong wine. I actually I like this idea. I think it's something that I might like to drink, and so I'm going to try this. Up next, you guys will like this one. Sycamore Distilling. This is a label from Sycamore Distilling. I don't know if you remember Sycamore Distilling. This was Cincinnati Distilling before they were Cincinnati Distilling. They called themselves Sycamore. However, a certain brewery, in theory, rumor is that certain brewery told them they could no longer use the name Sycamore because that certain brewery was going to be distributing their product here in Ohio and felt that was infringing upon their trademark. Well, as it turns out, that certain brewery closed, blew up actually, burnt itself to a crisp because the owner was doing terrible things with small children, I think. Maybe. I don't know. Don't quote me on that. I don't know how that all settled out. I shouldn't say it if I don't know it's real. They closed. I guess that means that you can use the trademark. I guess. I don't know if it's smart to use the trademark anymore. Like, I don't know if you want any kind of confusion with a brand that was blown up for that reason. But okay. I get it. You're attached to it, and you want to make a bourbon with Sycamore Distilling on it. Okay. 8-year bourbon. I'll try it, but yeah, we'll see. Oh, Lord. He's building a ballroom now. Moving on. MadTree. We have heard a whole bunch about MadTree and kind of what they're doing with the Seeing Colors brand. Some of the fun things that are coming from Seeing Colors. Some of the West Coast is moving to kind of a core style. And then there's this Strawberry Hazy IPA, which I need. Look, we talked about this on the last episode of Cincy Brewcast, which there is an episode of Cincy Brewcast coming, I promise. This is a Strawberry Hazy IPA, and I love strawberry beers. Strawberry is strawberry is my favorite fruit flavor that you can put into a beer. I forget lime. Give me strawberry. So as much as I would never call myself an IPA guy. I might be after this beer. I need it. Moving on, Rheingeist. I know we're headed into Oktoberfest, but I thought it was pretty fun. Bock. Rheingeist is going to can their Bock. Yes. I think that we need to always have a certain number of packaged Bock beer. It doesn't need to be a high number, but every time I hear of a brewery that is deciding, yawn. Every time I hear about a brewery that is not canning their Bock anymore, it means that somebody else needs to step up and do it. So I'm happy to see that that Rheingeist is going to put theirs in the cans for the first time ever, as far as I can remember. 6.5% says bready notes of toasted caramel with a pleasant malty finish. Yeah, that's my wheelhouse. That's a beer that I like. Also, huge shout out again to the label artwork. I've talked about this a lot over the last maybe the last couple of years, I guess. Josh says that label looks very tall for a 12-ounce label. I think it looks all right. Rheingeist has gotten a lot of credit No, I think Bok Bok Goat has been the name for a couple years. Um, I think they got a lot of credit early on for how great their branding was. But as far as like can artwork, over the last few years, and I don't remember exactly where it started, but when they start to incorporate things like this, where there is actual design and actual art behind the artwork itself, but still mimics that kind of striped uh, motif that they are known for. It's a thing of beauty. Like I cannot even tell you how much I love this. I don't know that orange is the color that I would have gone for. It doesn't feel spring enough. It feels more fall. But I'm nitpicking. Yes, give it to me. I love it. Third Eye, West Coast vibes. A West Coast style lager. West Coast style lager. That is not a thing. It's not a thing. The West Coast of what? Pilsen? Come on. What are we doing? West Coast style lager. It's fine. It's a great beer. I love it. Anything crisp and hoppy, I'm game. I'm just giving you crap. That's all I pulled for tonight. That's some good stuff though. There's some really interesting things there. The Common Light, I think, is probably the one thing that I was the most excited about. That I had to put on this week's episode. Ryan says Cincinnati is the one I had at Bachfest. That was a Doppelbock, though. Yeah, usually if there's an ATOR, it is a Doppelbock. There will be a lot of breweries that will do some kind of traditional Bock and then a very small batch version of a Doppelbock just for the fun of Bachfest. Zach says, speaking of label approvals, there may be one coming out for our collab with 513 Craft Brew and Equilibrium Brewing out of New York. In mid-August, we're having a watermelon milkshake IPA come out. Well, that's fun. Let's see. Let me go back here and click that. Rob over on Northeast Ohio Craft Brewery News says, I just got my freaking pool open a month ago. I'm not ready for fall. Sorry, I'm milking summer as long as I can. No pumpkin until at least mid-September. I respect that. I definitely respect it. Let's go here. My lager is dark and tasty, but what do you call it? So I noticed, and it happens this time of year, there are a lot of breweries that release kind of big, dark lagers, which I'm all about. Like, I'm a very seasonal drinker. As the weather does start to change, I want things that are a little more flavorful, a little more roasty, a little bigger. Not bigger in alcohol though, bigger in flavor. I still want something that's easy to drink, and so there are people now making beers like dark Czech lagers and Dunkels and things like that, way more than they used to. And it usually comes out about this time of year. I'm all about it. Let me make that clear right off the bat. I'm all about it. What I've found interesting though is what people call them. How do people label these beers? And we talked about it a little bit with the West Coast Lager. There is a struggle, I think, from a lot of breweries trying to understand how to communicate what is on tap to their customers. And as craft beer has grown and kind of become more mainstream, or whatever we want to call it, it's become increasingly harder to communicate a beer style to a consumer that doesn't want to be nerdy. It used to be that, like, when you walked into a tap room, you were surrounded by a bunch of fellow nerds. And if you saw a beer style on the tap list and you didn't know what it was, that was exciting. That was fun. That was something that was like, oh, I don't know what that is. Give it to me. I need to try that. I need to try that beer that I don't know what it is. And you didn't even care what it was. You just wanted to try something you didn't know about. That's not the way things are anymore. And so I find it very fascinating to watch breweries grapple with that idea. Do you call it a um, do you call it a Schwarzbier or do you call it a dark lager? Do you call it a Tmave Pivo or do you call it a dark Czech lager? How do you communicate that to the person on that side of the bar? And which is the right way? Is it better to just immediately write something up there that any person can look at and be like, "Yep, I know exactly what that is," or is there some kind of like ode to history that we're supposed to be doing? Are we going to lose the respect to some of these styles that or maybe are a little more obscure? Do we risk some of these styles just going away if we start to democratize all of it and turn it into some kind of middle of the road normal something or other? I don't know, and I don't actually know which way I lean. That's kind of what I'm hoping you can answer for me. Which you are allowed to call in, as you saw with Zach. You can call in and tell me exactly what you think. I think that there are times where I lean both directions. There's times where I see something and I'm like, you should just call that what it actually is. Call it a Pilsner, or call it a Schwarzbier, or call it a Hefeweizen. I guess Hefeweizen is probably a bad example. I think everybody kind of understands what that is at this point, but I don't know. You tell me. We will skip that last one. Leave that for next week. I do have some kind of closing thoughts about we talked about it last week about MadTree's promotion around Sway, and I have some thoughts about it that I've kind of been wrangling with over the last week, and I think I'm gonna make a post on social somewhere about it. Is probably the better way to share it out there. I'm gonna drink some ranch water, unless somebody can tell me their thoughts. Oh, there's a call. Hello, you're on the Weekly Pint. Who is this?
This is Julia.
Oh, what's up?
What is going on? I'm like watching the video on the screen, and there's a time delay, so I'm like, oh, my call's not going through. And it's just, again, the delay with the audio and the video, and I got really confused.
You're in the past.
So
now you're in the future.
I'm not going to look at my screen. Exactly. Really weird. No, just wanted to give my very quick 2 cents about the dark lagers and what do you call them. The history is always going to be there. I don't think you're going to lose the history just because you try to present the style to the consumer in a more sales-friendly manner. If you call it a dark lager as opposed to, say, a Schwarzbier, just to use those 2 very familiar terms of today.
Can I offer up an argument though?
Yeah, absolutely.
What about IPA? Because we saw it happen. We saw it happen with IPA. IPA got lost, and now nobody knows what IPA actually is because we just started calling it different things.
Right. I think that I feel like there is, for both lager, IPA, for a lot of these styles, there's a spectrum. It's not just one or another. There is not just a West Coast IPA. There is a whole range of what has been determined to be qualified as an IPA.
Right.
Same with a lager. It's a spectrum. If you want to, or if a brewery wants to make something that qualifies under some part of that spectrum, they need to figure out how to name it, or how to, classify the style that best helps their brewery to sell to their customers. If they know that they have 90% beer nerds coming in, they can call it a Cascadian Dark Ale or a Schwarzbier, and most of their customers are going to say, that sounds awesome. I need to know what that is. I'm going to buy that. But if it's a brewery that has, families coming in, they're going to want to see black IPA because, well, I know what an IPA is. What's a black IPA? Hopefully they'll have, people that are going to be curious and ask a question. I know what an IPA is, but what's a hazy IPA? What's a West Coast IPA? What's a black IPA?
So you
or,
don't,
more specifically to your.
Do you think anything was lost by the fact that, like, you can buy a bottle of Miller Lite and on it says that it's a fine Pilsner beer? Do you think that there's anything lost by the fact that there are a large segment of people in the world now that think Miller Lite is a Pilsner?
Honestly, I don't think that most of the people that buy Miller have any idea what the style is that they're drinking, which you're going to get for a good chunk of beer consumers. Some of them don't care what the style is. They're just going to say, give me something that is yellow or something that's, a clear-ish beer. The style is not going to matter to them. For the people that it does matter, they do have an interest in it. No matter what you call it to try to get the sale, if there is a history to that style, you're not going to lose the history just because you want to try to call it something that's going to make the sale happen for your space.
So
but you have to know your You know what I mean? I think you have to know your consumers to be able to know, are you going to be able to sell that pint in your tap room versus we need to make sure the lights stay on. So we need to make sure that we know this is a phenomenal beer, but if we call it, a West Coast Pilsner, no one's going to have any idea of what that is, and they're not going to buy it. Versus if we just call it a hoppy Pilsner, people might have a better idea of what they're going to get out of this beverage,
Right. I don't
so again, very, very generalized. I didn't want to take, a ton of time on it because I know you still have another topic you wanted to get to, but as soon as you said, are we losing some of the history of these styles? That's where I went. I don't think you can lose it because there are still enough people that
maybe the better way to word it is, are we honoring that history enough? Because again, I'm comparing it just to past craft beer experiences. Like, it used to be that, like, you called things weird things because that's what they were, and it started conversations, and it created these experiences in the tap room. And I understand why a lot of places aren't catering to that anymore. I get that, but are we losing something because of that? Like, are we losing some of that sharing of knowledge, the people that aren't necessarily seeking it out, being exposed to it? Like, the nerds will always find it. Like, the nerdy people will always find the history of those styles and find the weird, obscure stuff, and that's easy. But the people that don't know that they want to know about it, like, that's the people that I think are losing out right now, is that they're not being bombarded by strange things that they don't know about.
Sure. And I mean, that's also, I think, some of the tricky part, where is that up to the bartender to say, hey, okay, sure, here's, this dark lager. Did you know that this is also called, a Schwarzbier? This is also, a style that, is that something that just in the process of them taking that order, and as they're handing them their pint or their order of whatever they're getting, they're also trying to tell them just a little, extra nugget of information about the beer that isn't on just the board saying, this is what we have, to try to help make them go, oh, that's cool. What else can you tell me about this? Or just kind of spark a little bit of interest. And if they don't care, they don't care. And they're like, oh, okay, I don't know why you told me that. And they walk away. But for the people that go, wow, that's kind of cool sounding, and maybe they do go look it up, or they get into that conversation.
Yeah, even the people that walk away,
that
though,
they didn't know they needed to know. Yeah,
even the people that walk away, it's still in their head. Like, it's still there. Like, it's still, like, it might not have sank in this time, but then the next time they hear, like, oh yeah, I've heard about that. Like,
oh hey, I heard. Right, exactly.
I remember that.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Or they go and they watch Spaceballs, and they're like, oh, Schwartz. that's that dark beer. I
hey,
remember that.
right, exactly, exactly, and right. I mean, it's just something that it all depends on how. Again, it's where does that effort lie? Do the bartenders, does the brewery, does the bar, does the person at the higher gravity, if they're selling a six pack of saying, oh hey, I see you're buying this this product, have you tried a single can of this other product of this random style, you might like this. Again, it's all about just throwing in those random quick questions, quick pieces of information that might spark that, because where else are they going to get it?
Right.
Hopefully it triggers a little bit of interest, of curiosity, and hopefully that's where that history, that information transfer kind of continues.
Yeah. I mean,
But
I guess the moral of the story is when you're in a tap room and you see a beer that's named something that doesn't quite tap into the nerdiness, get nerdy.
Sure.
As that person's ordering
Sure.
it, start talking their ear off. Be like, hey, do you know that that's actually a Schwartz beer? Do you know what a Tomave Pivo is?
Do you know how to pronounce that? Because I sure as hell don't, but I love this guy. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep, that's all I got. Didn't want to take up more of your time, but like I said, just that little history bit kind of struck me. So I thought, you know what? I'll give you a call about it.
Wonderful. Thanks for calling in.
Not a problem. I'll talk to you later.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye. Yeah, I don't know that there's like a right or wrong answer about any of this, mind you. Like, I think that, like, I get why breweries do things one way, and I get why another brewery does it a completely different way. It's all like finding your own kind of pathway through the chaos of what the beer industry is right now. I think that there is something extremely, extremely important about, no matter who you are, walking up to a bar, looking up at a tap list, and not having to talk to somebody. Not having to talk to somebody. I want people to talk to me, but not having to, and reading what a beer is and knowing exactly what that's going to be and what it's going to taste like and what I'm in for. And you run the risk of not knowing if you are a novice beer drinker or even a fairly experienced beer drinker, and there's a style that is weird. Grodzinski or, whatever it might be. You might not know what that is. A Rogan beer. Like, come on. Like, it's a little confusing. And so, like, there is a benefit to then breaking that style into another description and calling it, a smoked sour wheat ale or whatever, however you want to describe that to people, whatever you think that descriptor is that will tell people exactly what they're about to taste. I get that. And I cannot find a reason to tell anybody that is wrong. That's probably exactly what you should be doing. But to find a way to expand that conversation into something a little bit deeper, I want that as a beer fan. And maybe the bigger discussion is that those moments and those opportunities are becoming less and less. That ability of bartenders or breweries or beer drinkers even to connect with each other and to communicate some of those fun little stories about beer styles are becoming less and less as hospitality becomes the buzzword, and as breweries turn into hospitality businesses, I guess. Not that they weren't always hospitality businesses, but yeah, talk to people. Just talk to people when you're at the bar. That's the moral of the story. We're gonna save the other story for next week, and we'll wrap things up since we're already an hour and 20 minutes into this thing. Thank you guys. come next Monday, and I know I've said it, I promise it this time, come next Monday, there will be a new episode of Cincy Brewcast in your favorite podcast playing app. However you like to listen to podcasts, it's there. Or watch your favorite podcasts, because evidently that's a thing, to watch podcasts. It's fine. I don't judge anybody for how they consume their podcasts. So stay tuned for that. If you're not already subscribed, do that. Go to cincybrewcast.com to get all the latest episodes, and there's more coming. Drinking with the Gnome is the other podcast. Then there's this one, which is not a show, so it can't be a podcast. It's just a thing. I appreciate all of you guys making this thing a thing. If you like this, if you like any of the stuff that I do, you know the drill. Go to thegnarlygnome.com/support to become a Gnomie, where you will get everything before everybody else, in theory, including news about the release of Cincy Drinks magazine, which is coming. It's coming. I might bump it to. I don't even want to say it out loud, but I might bump the first issue to a fall issue so that I can keep the schedule the way I want it to be. I might do that. I think it's close, but the editing is taking so long, and I still have to get the final proof done after that, and then send it out to printing, and then get them mailed out. And yeah, I don't actually know how long any of that is going to take, because it's the first time I've done this thing. I'm figuring it out as I go along. But yeah, Gnomies will hear about everything first. I should probably send out emails to update everybody that is a subscriber to Cincy Drinks magazine. If you are, I appreciate you. I appreciate you guys for making this show a thing every single week. This thing is a ton of fun to do. It gives me like these little moments to talk about things that don't necessitate full blog posts or full videos or something, but just these little thoughts about stuff that's going on here in Cincinnati. I think that it's all very, very important building blocks that create this bigger drinking culture here in the city. And so like every week to be able to kind of start breaking that apart and figuring how all that fits together and builds this bigger thing that I love so much. This show is important for that. Hope any of that made sense. Thank you guys. We'll be back next week. We'll probably drink some rum. Maybe we'll do a cocktail next week. Yeah, maybe we'll do that. Stay tuned. Maybe probably cocktails. We'll see you guys then. Bring your favorite rum cocktail. Here's the challenge. Next week, I want most of you to be chiming in, not drinking a beer, but drinking your favorite rum cocktail. It's a challenge. I challenge you, and then I will also challenge myself to come up with something fun. So stay tuned. Same time, same place. You guys know how it works. Bring the painkiller. Yeah, I might do a painkiller. Cheers, everybody. We will see you then. Thanks for hanging out. So, full disclosure, my favorite rum cocktail is definitely a Mai Tai. I might go painkiller. Because it's a fun story and a fun drink. If somebody decides to participate and their drink is a rum and coke, Cuba Libre, I will call you out and give you crap for it. It's still a good drink, though. It's actually really tasty. Ooh, we should do rum and coke flights. What's the best rum for a rum and coke? Get in the truck.